everyone, it's Michael, and I am losing my mind. I'm so excited to be doing this video. And that's because as orchid growers, we sometimes encounter plants that just evade our understanding. They don't cooperate, they give you no discernible indication that they are progressing forward, and you're kind of just left wondering, well, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to give this plant that I'm not giving it to make it flourish? And this, for me, is one of those plants. So you can imagine why I'm so excited to be doing the bloom profile for number 19 in my collection, my Bulbophyllum Fascinator. And you guys, I don't think I've ever been more excited to see anything in bloom, just because it is such a strange, beautiful, and peculiar little plant. And don't worry, we will go in closer for a better look, but first I want to talk through some of the background information on this guy. Now, this plant grows very specific to a region of the world, which is generally, if I'm not mistaken, it's northeast India all the way down through Laos, Vietnam, Thailand. So it is a very tropical plant. And for that reason, I was concerned that I wasn't ever going to be able to give it enough humidity. A lot of the literature on it says it needs 80%, but I'm currently running 38% in my apartment, and it has done just fine. So I don't think I would have been so panicked or frustrated by this orchid if I didn't have a point of reference to compare it to. So at the same time I bought number 19, I bought number 20 in my collection, which is my Bulbophyllum ambrosia, which I happen to have right here. When I bought them, they both had 3 pseudobulbs. And now you'll see that my Fascinator still has 3 pseudobulbs, and this one has 9. So over the course of the past 2 years, this has tripled in size while this one did nothing. So that's why I was like, what the hell is going on here? Beyond that, its transition to semi-hydroponics made me feel a little concerned, because it gave me no discernible indication that anything was happening. It didn't put down new roots, it didn't put out a new growth, it didn't do anything. So now I kind of think that it's just using its old root system. I think its old root system is still fully viable, but even when I unpotted it and shipped it from Colorado to California, I didn't see any change in the root system. So that's very peculiar, and I'm really wondering when this will start to give me some new growths. Now, let's talk about the timeline, because the timeline is also, this plant in general is just weird, but the timeline is exceptionally uncommon to me. So the flower spike on this guy appeared on July 29th, and then it bloomed on August 10th. That's less than 2 weeks. It actually bloomed while I was in Hawaii. My husband sent me a picture of it, and I was like, what the hell? I've never seen a flower spike develop that quickly. But it just matured really quickly and gave me the bloom. So, in terms of how long this will stay in bloom, I really don't have an answer for you. I scoured the internet looking for that information, and it doesn't appear to be anywhere. Now, I know that Bulbophyllum type orchids can bloom anywhere from 1 week up to 6 weeks, so I don't really know where the Fascinator will fall on that spectrum, but as always, I will include the timelines below. So I always list when it spiked, when it bloomed, when it drops its bloom. So when this bloom cycle is done, I will update the video description so you can see exactly how long this stayed in bloom. Now let's go in for a closer look. As you can see, the flower spike forms at the base of the pseudobulb. Now, if we travel up the flower spike, we get an idea of the gorgeous coloration. It has these vivid shades of maroon and plum, and then those are punctuated with this pale yellow green. Now, if you look specifically at the rocker, which almost looks like a tongue to me, it has this really peculiar iridescent purple velvet quality to it. Then, if you look around the top of the flower, you'll see these beautiful hair-like elements, and if you blow on them just right, they catch wind and just kind of vibrate. They're so, so stunning. Then, as we travel down the flower, you'll see that at the bottom, there are almost these twisted ropes. Now, the flower can get much bigger than this one. I think that because this is blooming for the first time for me, the flower is smaller, but the flower itself can grow up to about 6 to 7 inches. In terms of the fragrance, this guy has no discernible fragrance. And you know that I always stick my nose as far into a flower as I can to see if I can pick up anything, and truly there's really nothing coming out of this plant. And that's kind of good news. In the world of Bulbophyllums, fragrance can be a tricky business because their pollinators are primarily flies as opposed to bees. So they're not using sweet scents to attract their pollinators. They're using the scent of dead, rotting meat typically. So that's usually the scent that people will report smelling when they have a Bulbophyllum. In terms of the bloom season for this plant, there really is no defined blooming season, but people generally say it happens between summer to fall, and that's exactly where it's happening for me. The plant itself is capable of producing 1 to 2 flourishes a year, but I will also continue to track that. Again, revisit the timeline. If it blooms more than once, you'll see all of that information included in the video description below. So that's pretty much it, you guys. I'm so excited and I feel so honored to see this plant in bloom, but I am really looking forward to seeing how this plant performs over time. Now, that's the real distinction between doing a bloom profile video and a care video. I will never give you a care video until I have gotten a plant to rebloom successfully multiple times using different grow tactics, using different lighting levels, because I really want to understand the full spectrum of how a plant can behave. So I will not be giving you a care video on this just yet. I'm going to take some more time with the plant, but I was just too captivated by the blooms to not share them with you immediately. So thank you guys so much for choosing to spend your time with me. If you have any questions, feedback, or concerns, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. Don't forget to click subscribe and have a beautiful rest of your day. Mwah! Bye, guys.